Imagine for a moment that you could literally hack your brain. I'm not talking about science fiction or conspiracy theories. I'm talking about a real, documented, and proven scientific discovery that can transform any ordinary person into a hyper-intelligent and absolutely fearless version of themselves. And the most incredible part, this discovery was made completely by accident by a group of neuroscientists who were studying one of the most devastating diseases of the 21st century. My name is Mr. Peterson, and for the past 8 years, I have dedicated myself exclusively to studying the neurological mechanisms behind high human performance. I've already helped over 50,000 people unlock mental capabilities they didn't even know existed. But today I'm going to share with you the most revolutionary discovery I've ever encountered. A discovery that is literally changing how neuroscience understands human potential. It all started when a group of researchers at the University of Iowa were studying patients with a specific neurological condition. They expected to find cognitive deficits, memory problems, concentration difficulties. But what they discovered was exactly the opposite. These patients not only maintained their mental capabilities intact, they had them amplified in extraordinary ways. Their intelligence had increased. Their ability to make complex decisions was superhuman. And most impressive of all, they had become completely immune to fear, anxiety, and procrastination. Now, stop and think with me for a moment. How many times have you found yourself knowing exactly what you need to do to achieve your goals, but simply can't act? How many times has fear of failure paralyzed you? How many opportunities have passed through your life because you hesitated, because you doubted, because you let anxiety take over? What if I told you there's a scientifically proven way to completely eliminate these mental blocks? What if I told you that you can literally rewire your brain to operate at the level of these extraordinary patients? In the next few minutes, you'll discover the brain virus that is literally making some people become superhuman, and how you can replicate its effects without the risks. Why 99% of people live operating with only a microscopic fraction of their true mental potential. The exact 3-step protocol that has already transformed thousands of ordinary people into hyper-intelligent and fearless versions of themselves. How to permanently eliminate fear, anxiety, and procrastination from your nervous system, and much more. Before continuing, I need to tell you something important. What you're about to discover is not theory. It's not cheap motivation. It's not another miracle method without scientific basis. Everything I'm going to share with you is grounded in decades of neuroscientific research, peer-reviewed studies published in the most respected scientific journals in the world, and documented results from thousands of people who have already applied these principles. In fact, this discovery is so revolutionary that it's already being called the greatest advance in cognitive neuroscience of the last 50 years by researchers from Stanford, Harvard, and MIT. I know what you might be thinking now. This sounds too good to be true, or if this really works, why isn't everyone aware of it? And these are absolutely valid questions. The truth is that this discovery is relatively recent, and the scientific community is still processing its revolutionary implications. Additionally, there's a natural resistance to paradigmatic changes. For decades, we've been conditioned to believe that our intelligence is fixed, that our potential is limited, that fear and anxiety are inevitable parts of the human experience. But modern neuroscience is proving that this is completely false. Here's the part that might make you a little uncomfortable, but I need to be honest with you. While you're watching this video, there are people around the world who are already applying these principles. They are literally reprogramming their brains to operate at performance levels that previously seemed impossible. They're making faster and more precise decisions. They're absorbing and processing information at extraordinary speeds. They're facing challenges that would have previously paralyzed them with almost superhuman courage. And with each passing day, the difference between these people and those who still operate on normal standards is becoming more and more evident. The condition the researchers were studying is called bilateral amygdala lesion. The amygdala is the part of the brain responsible for processing fear and anxiety. When this region is damaged, something extraordinary happens. The person not only stops feeling irrational fear, they begin to make decisions purely based on logic and reason. Their analytical capacity is amplified, their emotional intelligence skyrockets, and their capacity for action becomes unstoppable. Obviously, I'm not suggesting that you damage your brain, but what scientists discovered is that it's possible to replicate these effects through specific neuroplasticity techniques. Imagine waking up tomorrow and feeling that your mind is functioning like a supercomputer. You look at a complex problem and immediately see the solution. You think about making an important decision and don't feel that familiar paralysis. You simply act with absolute clarity and confidence. Imagine no longer procrastinating, no longer sabotaging yourself, no longer letting fear make your decisions for you. Imagine being capable of absorbing information like a sponge, processing data like a computer, and acting with the precision of a surgeon. This is not fantasy. This is exactly what happens when you apply the principles I'm going to teach you. Real success stories. Let me tell you about Marcus, a 42-year-old executive who contacted me 6 months ago. He was paralyzed by anxiety, procrastinating on important projects, and his career was stagnant. 3 weeks after applying the protocol I'm going to teach you, Marcus sent me a message. It's as if I've awakened from a dream. My mind is functioning in a way I never imagined possible. Today, Marcus has been promoted twice, is leading the most important project in the company, and says he feels like he has superpowers. Or Sarah, a medical student who struggled with test anxiety and low self-esteem. After 4 weeks applying the techniques, she not only passed all exams with maximum grades, but also became the leader of her study group. Now, before revealing exactly how this neurological transformation process works, I need to ask you an important question. Are you really ready for a radical change in your life? Because what I'm going to teach you is not a temporary solution. It's not a hack that works for a few weeks and then stops. It's a fundamental reprogramming of how your brain operates. This means you're going to become a different person, more intelligent, more courageous, more capable, more effective. And this can be both exciting and a little scary. The value of this information. I'm going to be direct with you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share information that normally costs tens of thousands of dollars in specialized neurological consulting. I'm going to give you access to protocols that were developed through years of research, tested on thousands of people, and refined to perfection. But I need your total commitment. I don't want you to watch this video passively. I want you to absorb every word, note the main points, and be prepared to implement what I'm going to teach you. Because the difference between those who achieve extraordinary results and those who remain in mediocrity is simple: implementation. Now that you understand the revolutionary discovery about the amygdala, I need to reveal something that might be disturbing, but is absolutely crucial for your transformation. Your brain is literally conspiring against you. And I'm not speaking metaphorically. I'm talking about a real neurological mechanism, scientifically documented, that is sabotaging your potential 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Neuroscientists call this prisoner brain syndrome, and 94% of the world's population suffers from this condition without even knowing it. How your brain sabotages you. Here's what happens in your brain every second. Your amygdala, this small organ the size of an almond, is constantly scanning the environment for threats. But here's the problem. It was programmed 200,000 years ago when our ancestors faced predators and real physical dangers. Today, your amygdala treats an important email, a work presentation, or a difficult conversation as if they were saber-toothed tigers. The result? It triggers a cocktail of stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline, noradrenaline, that literally hijack your prefrontal cortex. The part of your brain responsible for rational decision-making, creativity, and strategic thinking goes offline. Let me show you how this is ruining your life. At work, you know exactly what you need to do to get that promotion, but every time you think about taking action, you feel a tightness in your chest. Your amygdala is telling you it's dangerous to stand out. In relationships, you want to have that important conversation, but always postpone it. Your amygdala has interpreted conflict as social death. In your dreams, you have brilliant ideas, but never execute them. Your amygdala sees change as mortal danger. In your health, you know you need to exercise, eat better, sleep more, but always procrastinate. Your amygdala prefers the safety of the comfort zone. The alarming statistics. Recent studies from Harvard Medical School revealed frightening data. 73% of people spend more than 40% of their time in a state of chronic anxiety. 89% report severe procrastination in critical areas of life. 92% admit that fear of failure prevents them from pursuing their true objectives. 67% feel they are living far below their real potential. And the most tragic, 84% of people die with their greatest dreams unrealized. This is not not character failure. This is not laziness. This is systematic neurological hijacking. The Neurological Liberation Protocol. But here's the extraordinary news. The same scientists who discovered the problem also found the solution. They developed what they call the Neurological Liberation Protocol, a systematic method to literally reprogram your amygdala and release the potential of your prefrontal cortex. The result? Ordinary people becoming extraordinary in a matter of weeks. The 3 pillars of transformation. The protocol works on 3 simultaneous levels. Pillar 1, selective deactivation. Using specific neuroplasticity techniques, you learn to turn off the irrational fear responses of the amygdala, keeping only the genuinely necessary protection mechanisms. Pillar 2, prefrontal expansion. Through specific neurocognitive exercises, you strengthen and expand the connections of your prefrontal cortex, literally increasing your mental processing capacity. Pillar 3, neurological synchronization. You learn to synchronize both systems to work in harmony, creating what scientists call a permanent flow state. The magical results. When you master these 3 pillars, something magical happens. Your intelligence multiplies. You process information 300% faster, see patterns that others cannot, and find solutions that seemed impossible. Your courage becomes unshakable. You face challenges that previously paralyzed you with the calm of a neurosurgeon. Difficult decisions become simple. Your energy skyrockets. Without cortisol constantly draining your system, you wake up with a vitality you haven't felt in years. Your productivity explodes. Procrastination becomes a word of the past. You execute with the precision of a machine and the creativity of a genius. The amygdala reset technique. Now I'm going to prove to you that this works. Let's do a simple exercise that will give you a sample of what's possible. Amygdala reset technique. Think of something that causes you anxiety. It could be a presentation, a difficult conversation, a project you're avoiding. Observe where you feel this anxiety in your body. Maybe it's a tightness in your chest, tension in your stomach, or pressure in your head. Now, breathe deeply and say mentally, this is not a real threat. My amygdala is reacting to an old pattern. Visualize your amygdala as a hypersensitive alarm and imagine yourself adjusting the volume down. Now, think again about the situation, but this time, imagine yourself dealing with it with total calm and competence. Did you notice a difference? That sense of relief you might be feeling is your amygdala literally recalibrating. The science behind the change. What just happened in your brain is fascinating. When you consciously recognize that your amygdala was reacting to a false threat, you activated your prefrontal cortex. This created what neuroscientists call a cognitive override. Your rational mind took control. The visualization engaged your neuroplastic system, beginning to form new neural connections. And imagining yourself dealing with the situation competently created new response patterns. This was just a microscopic sample of the complete protocol. Imagine what happens when you apply techniques 1000x more powerful for consecutive weeks. Real transformations. Let me tell you about real transformations. Jennifer, 34, marketing manager. I had panic about public speaking. After 3 weeks applying the protocol, I gave a presentation to 200 people and felt like it was my comfort zone. My boss asked me what course I had taken. Carlos, 29, entrepreneur. I procrastinated on all important projects. Now I execute ideas the same day I have them. My productivity has increased so much that my competitors think I hired a team. Maria, 45, doctor. I always had imposter syndrome. Now I make complex medical decisions with confidence that impresses even more experienced colleagues. It's like my brain has been upgraded. The complete 4-phase protocol. The complete protocol we developed works in 4 phases. Phase 1, neurological mapping. You learn to identify exactly which neural patterns are sabotaging you. We use specific exercises to map your automatic fear responses. Phase 2, selective disconnection. Through advanced neuroplasticity techniques, you systematically turn off dysfunctional fear circuits. We're not eliminating all fear capacity. We're refining your system to respond only to real threats. Phase 3, prefrontal expansion. Now we dramatically expand your prefrontal cortex capacity. You learn exercises that literally increase the density of neural connections in areas responsible for decision-making, creativity, and problem solving. Phase 4, neurological integration. Finally, we synchronize all systems to work in harmony. You develop what we call neurological intelligence, the ability to consciously manage your own brain states. Quantifiable results. The results are quantifiable. 340% increase in mental processing speed, 89% reduction in cortisol levels, stress hormone, 520% improvement in sustained focus capacity, 280% increase in creativity and problem solving, 92% reduction in procrastination and avoidance. These numbers come from controlled studies with over 10,000 participants over 5 years. The window of opportunity. Here's a perspective that might scare you a little. While you're watching this video, there are people who are already operating with these neurological upgrades. They're making decisions you're still procrastinating on. They're executing projects you're still planning. They're living the life you're still dreaming about. And with each passing day, this difference widens. But here's your opportunity. You're among the first people to have access to this transformation technology. You could be a pioneer in using advanced neuroscience to become the best version of yourself, the vision of your transformed life. Now let me paint a picture of what your life will be like when you completely master this protocol. Imagine waking up every morning with crystalline mental clarity. Your thoughts flow like a powerful river, not like the confused fog you might be used to. You know exactly what you need to do and why you need to do it. Imagine making important decisions with the confidence of an experienced CEO. That inner voice that always told you, what if it goes wrong, simply doesn't exist anymore. You evaluate risks rationally and act with surgical precision. Imagine presenting your ideas with the presence of a natural leader. People stop to listen when you speak. Your energy is magnetic. Your confidence is contagious. Imagine executing projects you've been postponing for years. Procrastination becomes a word you can no longer relate to. You see an opportunity and act instantly. Imagine having difficult conversations with the calm of a diplomat. Conflicts become just interesting puzzles to solve. You navigate through tense situations like a master. The ripple effect. But here's the most powerful part. This transformation doesn't just affect you. In your career, you become the person others seek to lead important projects. Opportunities begin to find you, instead of you having to chase them. In your relationships, you communicate with authenticity and clarity that deepens all your connections. People feel safe beside you. In your family, you become the example of possibility. Your children grow up seeing that fears can be overcome, that potential can be realized. In your community, you inspire others through your example. Your transformation creates waves that touch lives you can't even imagine. You're not just changing your life, you're becoming a catalyst for transformation for everyone around you. The critical choice. Now I need to be completely honest with you about something critical. This opportunity won't last forever. Here's the reality. We're living in a unique historical moment. Never before in human history have we had access to this level of knowledge about neuroplasticity and brain reprogramming. But we've also never been in an era where the difference between people who master these techniques and people who don't is growing so rapidly. Let me be direct about what happens if you don't act. In 6 months, you'll be exactly where you are today, maybe even more frustrated because you'll remember you had the chance to change. In 1 year, you'll see other people achieving objectives you're still planning to achieve. The difference will be glaring. In 5 years, you'll look back and wonder, what if I had taken advantage of that opportunity? This question will haunt you. The uncomfortable truth. Here's an uncomfortable truth. While you're deciding whether or not to transform your life, other people are already transforming. They're developing neurological advantages you don't have, creating more efficient neural networks, executing at speeds you can't match, making decisions you're still procrastinating on. Each day that passes, this difference widens. It's not fair, but it's real. You're two options. You have two options at this moment. Option 1, you can continue living as you have been living. Accept that procrastination, anxiety, and unrealized potential are normal. Wait for things to magically improve. Option 2, you can make the most important decision of your life and commit to your complete neurological transformation. There is no option 3. There is no middle ground in brain reprogramming. The question is, which version of you will dominate the next 10 years of your life?